Hi, I'm Numbered.
And I'm Svenny.
And you're watching Battle Gamer News.
Today, we're reviewing Terminator Salvation.
Terminator Salvation follows John Connor, a post-Judgment Day resistance fighter working to save some soldiers trapped by an army of Skynet machines.
If you couldn't tell by the title, this game takes place in the Terminator universe and uses the same characters from the movies. One thing that helps it to flow is that they use the same actors to voice over the game.
The game tries to have a compelling plot, but unfortunately, what goes on in the game can't affect the overall movies, which means ultimately, what you do doesn't matter.
After a while, the plot seems to not have any point. You're sent to save 3 soldiers, although far more than 3 die along the way.
The game also has a lot of plot holes and unexplained events that makes it seem like parts of the game are cut, which is silly considering that the game is only 5 hours long to begin with.
One example goes kind of like this.
Gee, it's a good thing I commandeered this robot. Oh, too bad I don't have any way to remotely control its guns.
Now you do. Let's not contemplate where I came from or how I got this. Let's go.
Really? Thanks.
The graphics are probably the one redeeming quality about the game.
The environments were, for the most part, up-to-date and impressive, but the character models were definitely lacking. In particular, the facial animations were horrible. They were usually off, and, more often than not, a few seconds behind. They looked a little something like this. Hey, Svenny, what's up?
Not much. My mouth doesn't really match what I'm saying, but at least the buildings are pretty. The gameplay of Terminator Salvation changes from a cover shooter to squad-based gameplay to multiple vehicle rail shooters.
The reason for this is probably to change things up and make sure that nothing gets old, but in reality what happens is just as you get used to one style of gameplay, they throw you into the next, and the result can be quite jarring.
My favorite part of the game was the beginning, which played out a lot like a cover shooter. This game actually has a really nice cover system, but it's not used as much as it should. When it is used correctly, you get to sneak around the enemy and shoot them in the back.
This system not only promotes cooperative gameplay, but is fun and intuitive. Unfortunately, it's only really used a few times during the beginning of the game.
Later on in the game, you hook up with some NPCs that aren't exactly smart enough to sneak around with you, and this changes the game to being more about direct firefights. This can be fun, but after a while it gets to become sluggish and repetitive. Towards
the middle and end of the game, you do several vehicle-based missions, which play out a lot like rail shooters. Unfortunately, these are not really fun or important to the story, and it makes you wonder if they were just stalling for time.
After a while, there's no point from changing to vehicle, and the long stream seems to play out like this.
Quick, John, let's get into the robot.
Yeah, it sure is good that we got into the car so we could get into the train, so we could get into another car, so we could guard the bus, so we could get into the robot.
It's so convenient they were on order like that.
It is convenient! I love conveniency. If you like the Terminator series, want a quick game to play with your friend in a single night, or want some seriously quick gamer score, Terminator Salvation might be worth your time.
If you want to play the game though, make sure you just rent it, because this game can easily be beaten in a rental period.
I'll give Terminator Salvation a decent 6 out of 10.
I also give it a 6 out of 10.
Thanks for watching Battle Gamer News. Make sure to subscribe and check back every week for more game reviews.